Hi friends, I just thought I would do Kate's challenge for July. I have cut, so it's a slow stitched little pieces, bits and pieces letter, and like I said with my laptop case, the front's done now, but the back I was thinking of putting an embroidery around on one side and a letter, Kate's letter, on the other side. So I'm going to make this before I continue with the laptop case. So I made this yesterday and I realised the bit of paper wasn't big enough, and I measured it so as it was to the side of the embroidery I want to do on the other side, and this was the area I wanted to fill in. So I know that this is not exactly how I want it, so I'm just going to do a bit of a quick sketch around. Oops. And it's okay because it'll be messy because I'm going to neaten it up. So I decided that I wanted these to be a little bit more curved. Let me just rip this a bit. I've got a bit more of a movable workable surface. Okay. I think that was a bit sharp. Now, I think I like that a bit better. Didn't want that as sharp. Don't want that as pointy, and a bit more rounded there. Now that's quite, let's see, about there I think. Or do I want it a bit bigger? Maybe a bit wider. Maybe not that wide. See, it's all right when we're just sketching it out, because then we can work out which lines we're going to cut. So not that line, I want that line, this line. So I'm going to meet that there. Now, I think it's a bit imbalanced, so I think make this just a little bit slimmer, make this a little bit wider. I actually don't mind if it's a bit wonky because it's got a bit more character. It does look like a C. It's a bit imbalanced in terms of it being a bit thicker up here and a bit thinner down here. That's why I actually turned it over to have a look and see if it looks better upside down. Now, I can probably fiddle-faddle with this a bit. However, what I'm going to do is cut it out and then look at how it looks. Making that a bit thinner. Ordinarily I would have got my little alphabet and lettering book out. Now I was making that a bit smaller because those alphabet lettering types of books often have little grids and things. So I know I'm not being as perfect as sometimes I am about things like lettering. Years in the printing business and the art department kind of set things in stone there with that perfectionism. However, I like the idea of sometimes being a little bit wonky, and as Kate would say, often the our material backing that's this size and shape will have little tiny weeny bits of material out. Now I still feel that's a little bit bulbous. Okay. Don't like these pointy edges anymore. At the time I liked them. Now I don't. I guess now that I've taken the pointy edges off, they had a bit of a medieval air about them, and now they've got a bit of a Comic Sans, which is a typeface, a font name. Oh, let's look at it here. Crinkle, crinkle. Okay, I don't mind that. What I've been doing is some jelly printing, which is absolutely great fun. So I found these, a lady was selling about 10 of these on Facebook Marketplace, just not too far away. I went and picked them up, and I thought there was a possibility they could have been hand stitched, but I think they've been machine stitched, and they've got this interfacing behind which makes it just a bit stiff. So I want to use that, but I'm just thinking I might just use a bit of this for my base. And what else do I need? Oh, a bit of wadding, a bit of batting or blanket, one or the other. Got a bit of orange. This one's been quite good because it's quite old, so it's quite thin. I think that one's going to work. So I need some of that. This might even be a poly cotton. So I am just going to pin all of these together. What a cute, fun little project. I hope everyone's well. I probably haven't asked for a while. It's been a bit wintry down here in Melbourne. A bit of rain, not too much hail, a little bit. We had a hailstorm the other day. In general, though, not too bad. I'll just cut this out. Very easy to just want to hibernate in winter for sure. Hang out inside watching movies. I think a little while ago I said I'd been working my way through the Brokenwood Mysteries, which is a New Zealand detective show, and I love a detective show. Always loved Agatha Christie's. Now I've got a little teacup here for my bits. Actually, this isn't the teacup. This was the dumpling bowl. And I got through Channel 10, so it was on the television show on Channel 10. I was watching it, and I got to season 8, and I've had to go over to channel 9 to find season 9, and then I believe after that I have to go to binge to get season 10. And I don't know where they've got. I don't know if they've just released season 11. Maybe that's on binge as well, I don't know. I'll have to find out. But I really love it when I find a show that like I think I said in that video, I don't know how many videos ago that was, but where I find a show that has a nice format. I don't guess who did it, because they always have little red herrings and curly whirlies, and that one episode is 1.5 hours, so 90 minutes roughly. So it's a really good, for me, stop and have a sit down and do some stitching in the afternoon. Yes, I know I shouldn't be. I should be busy doing all these other things, but no, I love it. Sit and do some stitching whenever I like. Okay, I still feel this is a bit bulbous up here. Do I want to correct it? Because if I correct it, I might mess it up, but just a little bit maybe. Just a little bit. Okay, Dumpling over there. One of my pet sits. She's got 3 cats. I've been looking after them for quite a while. Hello, Linda. And the oldest one is, I think, 11 or 12. I've mentioned him before, he's deaf and blind, and he is gorgeous. He went deaf and blind because he nearly died because the vet accidentally gave the wrong medication, nearly killed him, and now he's permanently on steroids to have a bit of life. But he's, aside from being blind and deaf, he's actually amazing. He's very cuddly. He always walks up and he gets on your shoulder and gives you a big cuddle. Very cute. All right, there we are. What was I saying about gel plating? So I've been enjoying gel plating, and I think I might make, put a bit of material. So I might put this on a gel plate, put my ink on, put some material, and have a look how it looks. Oh, no, you have to do it upside down. So don't make that mistake, Christina. I have to do it upside down, and then I'll have some material that's gel plated, and I'm thinking that I might use it. I might like it for another one. I can use this ready to go when I get round to the gel plate part of my day, which is probably in an hour or two. Loving it. Okay, so now I can do a quick little stitch. Get all those down. This is a single-stranded something. I say it's a something because when you get like loads of different bits and pieces in people's stash, you don't always know what it is. Anyway, it's a bit thicker than a normal sewing thread, and it's thinner than a perle, or a pearl, however you want to say it. And I think I'm just going to get these two attached to each other so I can get the pins out. Doesn't have to be a special stitch, just enough to keep the two together. I love these projects that sort of, they take me back a bit to my childhood, and I really, really wish I could find my apron that I made. I made an apron at high school, and I made it for my cooking class, and I embroidered my name or Yeah, I think I embroidered my whole name with flowers. So I did do embroidery when I was younger. I just have a selective memory that I didn't. Who wants to remember high school? The trauma years. So, one day I might find that somewhere in a tub or something. I hope so. I would so love to put that in my big quilting book now. I have a coughing fit. Let me get this done and go and get some water. Good old Melbourne winter. It's okay. So this video will go up on the Saturday that I'm going to visit Mum. We have a few birthdays in July, so my mum's is the 16th, which is actually today when I'm filming this. Her partner is the 18th, and mine's the 21st, so I will have actually already had my birthday when this video comes up. But on the 20th, which is the Sunday, we're going to be going to the art gallery and having a look at the kimono exhibition, and then maybe I'll get a video up during the week of that, but so that might have already been up. But then we're going to see, well, sort of a friend of mine, David Hurrigan, who makes the most amazing buildings, which are little tiny weeny replicas of actual buildings in Melbourne. He definitely does Melbourne stuff, and this particular exhibition is all his ones that are parts of the band scene, so the Melbourne band scene. So the Tote, the Espy, if anyone knows Melbourne, the Espy, the Corner Hotel, places where I have gone as a younger person to celebrate music. Anyway, they're all about like this size, but they're such perfect replicas. It's amazing. So I'm just starting to play a bit with some of these. This is the green. When I dyed everything the grey, the smoky midnight for the pouches, I had a couple of things that actually came out green. So I've still got them sitting here. So I'm just looking at my little pile of scraps here. Some of this pink left over from my little teacup. Oh, pin. My Victorian lady teacup. It's very delicate. Tweet, tweet. Thanks, Chris. That's Chris's little birdie. What else have I got? Just using the scraps that I can see around me right now, but I will go and get more. Some bigger pieces for the base. I will cut these where, you know, here. Once I get some bigger pieces down, I'll turn it over and have a little trim, so those little ones can wait. This is pretty. And then I can start to look at building up layers on top. Possibly a little bit of beading. the end. Gosh, this pink doona cover that ripped has, the rest of it has been in so many projects. I've done so many projects with it. All good. So I can probably do another layer of stitching, or I can just give it a few snips. Little snippy all the way around. Now I've got one tub with a lot of tiny pieces in, but I've also separated a lot of my materials into tubs of colours as well, and they often have a bit of everything, like smaller pieces, bigger pieces. So the front of my, because I'm thinking I'm putting this one on my laptop bag, the front of my laptop case has ended up having a feature of green, and I'm not quite sure if that's what I want to do on the back. So I'm going to get this phase done and then stitch this down, and then I might go off, toddle off and have a look at some things and come back, because I've got to work out what colours my embroidery is going to be on the laptop bag before I decide if there's going to be a feature colour or it's going to be one particular colour heavy. Like I say, I might make a couple of these, so okay. I might actually go round, like a running stitch around the outside of this. Once again, these don't have to be super secured, because we're just going to keep layering, and every time we layer, my brain just went to a whole new idea. Sorry, I went quiet. I was like, every time we layer, and then I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to make one with solvy and threads. I'm going to make a whole heap of them, I think. I'll make a few C's and they can go on different things that I own. All right, it's not a very fine running stitch, this one, but it will do the job. Oh yes, oh, I'm very excited about that. Making a whole one with all my orts, my leftover threads, because I've got so many, and I've been thinking, what will I do with them? I shall call it See Three Ways. And I better make a blue one, so that is even funnier. My sense of humour has been a bit all over the place lately. See three ways, then I start thinking about the sea. So I was talking to someone about insomnia, because I've had insomnia for like a long time, where I'll wake up at anywhere like 1 or 2. Oh, did I just do that? Oh, that's annoying. 1, 2 or 3, and then I'll be awake for hours, and then I fall back asleep at 6 or 7, which is annoying because I hate wasting a day. I really do. I really don't like that concept of not getting enough sleep in the night and then falling asleep through the day. But I've been recently reading that different people have different circadian rhythms, and that just might be what works for me, but it's still annoying. Anyway, apparently, and I misunderstood what she said, and I can't remember what it's called. It's called something like word scattering or word something or other, where you think about different words that have no relevance to each other, like of things or whatever. I misunderstood it and thought you had to do it all one letter of the alphabet. So it worked the first time in a way. It put me to sleep, and then it didn't work. And then she said, no, it has to be random words, not alphabetized, because then you're putting structure to it, which is what you're trying to stop your brain from doing. Thinking. I thought, okay, I'll give that one a try. And that seemed to work to put me to sleep at night, but not necessarily when I wake up in the middle of the night, because I'm wide awake. Like I'm ready to learn, do some study, or catch up on some YouTubes or whatever. Like it's just works for me that way. Anyway, so for anyone who wants to give that a try, so I did. I woke up at 1 this morning and thought, okay, I'll try it. And it's like frying pan, crow, brick, random words that make no sense, so that your brain can't latch onto anything and start to go off on a tangent. I think actually at one it did actually put me back to sleep really, really quickly. But I woke at 4:30 and I was refreshed and wide awake because I hadn't been awake for that long in that middle bit. So I've been up since 4:30 today, and so I'm actually making this video early, which is fine. Before the aeroplanes start. Okay, I've gone all the way round. I can probably take these off now, and I might just see, that's the beauty of this. Might just go across. Maybe I don't need to. No, I think they're secure enough. Let's take the pins out and double check. There we go. Okay, so this is a really good start. I'm going to go off and get a few more things and come back, do my washing, come back after I've done a bit of jelly plating as well, because I don't know why I thought that might mean something. I'm thinking if I'm going to make a couple, there'll be a slow stitch one with some beading, there'll be a jelly printed one with embellishments, and then there'll be a solvy one. All right, I'll be back. Right, I'm back, and as you can see, I got a bit carried away last night stitching. I've got some more antique lace to put on here. I decided I will do some beading, but I decided I was going to do some embroidery. And the first things first, the embroidery is going to be with the threads that I've used, because this is going to go on the other side of the laptop bag. So if you've been watching that series, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I haven't kept to the same rule with the front, or whatever's the front, whatever's the back of the laptop bag. So my colours are sort of similar, but a bit different. Some are the same. So when I've got this on, I'm going to show you a little bit of a sneak peek of the embroidery on the Well, I'm thinking of it as the back because I started on one side doing the Cecile design, but now that I'm working on the other side and doing my design, I'm kind of, I don't think you could choose which is the front or back. They could be either. Take that pin out. Okay, so let me just show you the threads. Now, all right, sneaky peek, ready, go. So I've got this one for the pinwheels. This one is the little tiny little daisies. This is the leaf, and this is those daisies. And this wool I used for these woven woolen roses. This has also got a bit of satin, little flowers of satin. I don't think I'm going to put those on this though. So my idea is to just get stitching and having a bit of fun. Now this will bring this into a blend with this. I put the blue on because I love it, firstly. It's one of my favourite colours, which is why it might end up being the front of the bag, because you've got to have yourself in it, haven't you? That's me. One side's the Cecile Franconi design. The other side is from that book I showed you the other day, and, or was it at the start of this video? No, I can't remember. Maybe it was in the last. Where is it? It's in the lounge. And this side is my design using that blanket book that I showed already. It's been shown in a video. And I don't know. I think I'm loving it because it's kind of my design rather than someone else's. I don't mind doing someone else's design. Like I say, I always learn. I really learned here about, I chose my own colours. I learned here about how to sort of do this sort of a cluster thing. Very good. Anyway, let's get that out of the way because I don't want that to inform this too much. And have I got the right needle? I think I might make these quite chunky. And like I said, I have done some jelly printing on some material yesterday. I was having quite a bit of fun. For some reason, I didn't quite get the effects I've got before when I've used material, so I might have to have a bit more of an explore today, but I promise I will get some of those back up and running. I think I'm going to do a blanket stitch around the outside. Or in parts, maybe just in parts, rather than have it trailing kind of all over the place. Like trailing as in like just doing leaves everywhere. That's kind of what I meant to say, which I may do. I might get another green that's from the other side of the bag. But these sort of more raw edges, getting a bit of the blanket stitch happening. Now the back isn't going to matter at all because it's going to be secured down. Yeah, I don't think I'll go all the way around with a bright colour. Might actually use a white thread or something to do the bits I don't do in a colour, but I do like having that bit of colour blanket stitch, especially when it's an edge that looks a little bit, well, I'm not going to say boring, that's not the right word, but an edge that looks lacking, let's say that. Needs a little bit of a boost. Here we go. So I love that there, but I think I'd like to continue along a bit. We're having, actually Lily and I were just talking this morning that it's quite, every time we think it's going to be absolutely freezing, which we do have little freezing moments, like she reminded me that she's only worn her scarf to work. She works in the city, she works home 3 days and 2 days in the city. So she said she's only worn her scarf twice. And I remember winters where you'd have to have your scarf on whenever you left the door. Like whenever you went outside, you'd have to have a scarf on. Let's end this. Let me look. It's not showing so much in the blue. However, I might just get around the edge here just to not have, you know, lots of those little scrappy bits, because I'll know then that it's finished and it's secured, so it's not going to keep on fraying, because this is going to be a bag that's used when I travel to keep my laptop a bit more padded and a bit more interesting than a normal boring old laptop bag, although I did like my purple neoprene case with the dots. That was pretty fun. Now, I definitely want to do some, I'm liking using the whole thickness. On this I used either 2 or 3 strands. I didn't use a full thickness. I got the bit of a contrast with these, with the wool, using the wool instead. That looks as good a spot as any to do a daisy chain flower. Daisy out of a lazy daisy. Okay, I just forgot to turn the camera on when I just went to get a drink of water, and I did 2 of it's chain stitch to make a daisy. What enough. So now I'm using this pink 3354, which is very cute. I think I'll do a pistol stitch flower. So I'm echoing a couple of the flowers that are on the bag, on this design. That's a pistol stitch flower. So I'm just, as if I'm doing a French knot, if you don't know a pistol stitch, but just coming away from the spot that I have come out of. And then I'm just coming back into the center. So to all intents and purposes, it's just doing a French knot, but further away than where you've come from. See, pistol stitch. Quite like them on this. On this one, because of the colour, they remind me of the Sydney pinwheel. It's a fiery, is it an Illawarra tree? Maybe it's an Illawarra. And it's got these pinwheels all over it. Actually, it is known to be a New South Wales tree, plant, flower. But when I moved in here, I had my 10-year anniversary, by the way, of moving into this townhouse. First house I've ever bought on my own. So I thought it was a good celebration. And they had planted Illawarra trees down the street. There's one down the street. I don't know if it's still there. I can't recall. When I finished my 5 little pistol stitch, I do a little French knot in the middle. So I've got another little pinwheel flower there. That's cute. Keep getting a dry throat and needing to have some water. Forever the problem of winter in Melbourne, all the heating on and the germs if you go into the city or anything. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with this a bit more. I will probably do another pinwheel somewhere up here, get a lot more of the edging done in the blanket stitch, and then I'm going to come back and do some beading. Okay, I've had quite the bit of fun stitching this up. Now I want to put on some beads. I've added a little tiny one of those antique Suffolk puffs because it's gorgeous. Here's the last little pinwheel, and I don't think I showed, here is two of the wool little sort of daisies out of the wool. Added a green fly stitch, just wanted to bring in a bit more of the green to make it make sense with the back, and just some little running stitches to fill in some gaps. Now I want to do a little bit of beading, and just going to get some random spots. Now I've got a whole heap of let me see how these look, little pearls. I've got these beautiful, these are actually gemstones. Might be a little bit big for the, oh maybe not, if it's in a busy spot or a thicker textural spot, that'll work. What else have I got? I've got these, love these. These are sort of citron-y, sort of that limey citron colour. Love that. That'll really stand out. Actually liking a few of these for this little spot though. But it's so good to have a variety of different types of beads to add all over. Great fun. Glad I switched up my reading glasses. I've got some new reading glasses that I picked up, and I'm really happy that I could get rid of the old ones I've had in the garage here. Let's move this here so I'm not putting my hand across all the time. And I've got my second newest glasses, and I can see much better. So the new glasses are delegated to the sewing chair in the lounge near the TV, and these are now my studio glasses. Nice. Random trivia that's not necessary. How many will we put here? Maybe 3? And like I said earlier in the video, this will be up on Saturday the 27th, which is the day we're going out to Mum's for all our birthdays. But tomorrow, because I'm filming this on the previous Saturday, I've already mentioned I'm going off with the girls and my daughter's partner Mitch to the art gallery to see the geisha girls, the kimono exhibition, and really now getting very excited because of course not only are we then going to see a friend David's miniatures of the pubs exhibition. Brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. But I just booked for a place called the Rainbow Hotel in Fitzroy for Sunday night dinner, which does a roast of the day. And that's what Liz said. We should go and have a roast for birthday dinner, so we are. I've been told there's a cake arriving at lunch on Monday, which is my actual birthday, and by the time this video goes up I will be probably sick of cake because there's only Lily and I to eat it here. I might actually freeze half of it. Now, I'll see. Depends what sort of cake it is, I don't know. Us is sending a cake. Now, I like this, but where am I putting it? Maybe somewhere like that where there's actually quite a bit of dark surface area. So these light blue ones will really show. Totally windy out there today now. I had one. Made sure this little needle goes through these small beads. Oh, that just broke. Broke in half. Get rid of that. That's nice. I like these little blue beads to scatter around on that bit. Yeah. Be a bit like seed stitch, I think. They're not quite seed beads, they're like longer. Some of them don't fit. Okay. Salt and pepper the beads out. Anyway, I am very excited about the pub. Lily's vegetarian, not vegan anymore. She was vegan for a while, but they do a vegan nut roast as well as the normal roast. And they do it, they're going to do a full Yorkshire pudding and everything. I'm so excited. I'm really excited. But on the vegan nut roast, because it's in Fitzroy, they're calling it rather than a Yorkshire pudding, they're calling it a Fitz pudding, because that's in Fitzroy, and I guess they're making it without any animal products in it. All right, some of these really don't go all the way through. Can't wait. The difference of making my videos the way I make them now, I make them during the week ahead and put them up on a Saturday, is that you don't get the full details of everything. I think maybe I need to start utilising the community tab or something. Put a little thing about, here's what we did. Oh, that didn't fit. Oh, I think I'll just put these over here that don't fit, so I don't keep grabbing them over and over. It's not funny how some fit and some don't. So I am going to do another little section of this, start on my next letter. As I said, I'm going to make three different ones. So you've got the gist of what I'm doing with that. So I'll put the rest of them through here. I'll work my way down. Or, no, actually, I think I'll cut that. I've been so clumsy the last few days. I have, like, if I've opened a container of chips or something, they've spilt all over the ground. and so I'm being very cautious about shutting every bead pot after I've used them. Shut the lid. I've done it with biscuits, I've done it with chips. Maybe the universe is telling me something. Hey, it's winter. Been just enjoying eating food and having not a care in the world currently. Okay, I didn't test. Should have tested, didn't test. These are hard to see where the little hole is. There it is. I did not test whether the needle goes through. That's not where the hole is. My goodness. Can't even see one. It's not there. Could see one there. Oh, there it is. Goes through. So that's what I'm going to do with these, and I'm going to do a lot of this stitching off camera like I did, so I can get through the other C's. Okay, another one where I'm going to do this. Gosh, that one's really blowing up out there today. Okay, so when I finish the beading, that one will be finished, ready to show up in the next laptop case. I really love it. I love the colours on it, very much my favourite colours. And I love it next to the design on the laptop. And I'm thinking it's far outweighed the other side of the laptop, and this might be now my favourite front side. Now, I had a couple of days of jelly printing, having the time of my life, and this one I realized that this is about the size of the jelly plate I was using, so I had to discard this one and I made a new one. Now this was very successful, and this is deli paper. I've got a lot of so this is one of my other little mock-up journals. I've got a collage one, a scribble one, a little tiny one that I'm just inking, and now this is going to be my jelly plate journal. So, you know, these are ready to have extra things done on top. So these are just some of my little play experiments. This was the very first one on that jelly plate. I didn't condition it before I started, and so that's because I actually like getting some of these effects. But I'm just sticking them in this little book. This is an old map book. It was a huge map, and I've cut down, and I didn't want to waste the pages. I was having a bit of fun with some old newsprint, getting some type. So, stop corns. That was a bit of really old antique newsprint. And rub-off pages work well for a bit of collage work. And I think they're a great base. So you can just see some of the shapes of the C's as I've tried with the material. I think that's about it. And I love this one so much, I put it on the front cover. So that's something I'm working on. All good fun. And then I think I tried it on this material like I was going to, and it just didn't seem to come off really well. So the process I was using, now I have put my stencil into my collage book because I felt it was just getting too well done, too worked. So imagine you're putting this onto your jelly plate, you're putting your ink on your jelly plate, putting this down, getting a impression off by putting your deli paper over the top so you remove all of this background. Then I was taking this off and then trying to get on my material, and what I think is happening was that when my paper was here, the time it's taken for it to be here, for the outside to be taken off with my deli paper, this has soaked up too much of the paint, and so it hasn't come out very well. That's okay, it's all experiments. And so what ended up happening was I did get this one off, like I liked it. That's kind of a dud, that one, but I liked this one, so I did get the outside onto some material. And then I've painted gold around, and I'm thinking this is something worth doing. It's quite hard now where the gold is, that I could fill in the inside, or I could fill in around here, or I could leave it as it is. I think it needs more work. So that's one I've made. Then I was doing this one, and it didn't at all take the paint. So I'm having no trouble getting this background, but I'm definitely having trouble getting the actual letter off the jelly plate. I probably need a stencil where that part is cut out of the stencil. So imagine if my stencil was all this coloured painted area, and there was a hole here, and I put that on the jelly plate, then that would be open to the paint, and then that might work. But what I did with this one was I Posca painted. I did a line around the outside of my C that I had, and then I painted in with acrylic. The only problem I'm finding, as with this gold and this letter C, it's quite hard. I know I will be able to get a needle through, but it just might, it might be too hard work to do the whole lot. So I don't mind this. That's not too thick. I can get a needle through that quite easily. The other one I did was I tried to do similarly to this, where I had the outside taken off, and then I did the actual C. I took the C off and did the print. So it came up very much like this. I think definitely the issue is the paper being on the paint and coming off. It just takes too much off. So I've painted this one with some gold acrylic. So that's where I'm up to. I feel a little bit like this area around here may or may not be enough for embellishment. So if I was going to end up using this as, little tiny snippets of material, this is very fine up here. I don't know that I've got enough around it. Don't get me wrong, I can still use them for things. But this one now, I'm thinking, has enough room to start embellishing around, because I can come right out to here, up here, out here. And I'm just thinking that even though our letters are a solid letter like that for Kate's, that it doesn't matter to me to fill in all around all of this with slow stitching and just have the gold C there. I don't mind that. So I'm going to start to work on this one. So see what I mean? If I go around all the outside with lots of bits of material, it'll be, quite interesting. Even if I just end up doing it like this, and it's kind of a similar base to how I did this, with the base all underneath being larger pieces, and then this one having similar bigger pieces before I come in with the actual pieces I want to put on. So this is my number 2. At the end of the video, I will show you all of the 3 finished ones. But I'm going to go and get material and put it on here and then come back